right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash.
Stone. Peace, blessing, and many salutations unto your elect across the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. We're the Great Millstone Dallas branch coming to you all with another lesson, and this is going to be more so an intimate class session that you all see that we have every weekend. And we pray that they're edifying from the feedback. It looks like, definitely some good feedback that they are edifying out to the spirit. So in this topic today, I'm going to touch upon Nazareth. I was doing some reading in Matthew a while back, and when you read, matter of fact, can somebody hold the book of Matthew chapter 2 verse 23, Baba Kashaw, and somebody else can hold the book of St. John chapter 1, and you can start at verse 44 just for the numbers sake.
Matthew 2. Matthew 2.
Oh, okay. I get John.
Okay, and I was reading this, and you know how it is after you read books, and there's new things that you find out every time that you read it. This word is like constant living water, and there's always room for growth and always things to learn when you read these scriptures. And that's also why this Bible that we have here is so beautiful, and why it is considered living waters. And the more you read and gain understanding, the more you see that there are layers to this truth like an onion. And every time you read it, it's always something new, constantly going to be something new. Well, there's even a word that you never just considered before. And you look into that word, you find it. So as I was reading Matthew, when read this verse in verse 23, this inspired this lesson that we're going to go into. Whoever got the Matthew 2, Baba Kashaw.
Matthew 2 and 23. All right, it reads, "And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene."
Right, spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. Now, does anybody know that precept?
Judges. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The Judges 13.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah. This is Judges chapter 13, I think verse 5. I'll start with it. This is Judges chapter 13, verse verse 5. It says, actually I saw the verse 4. It says, "Now therefore beware," and this is the birth of Samson, by the way. It says, "Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto the Most High from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines."
Right. And Samson was one of the judges that you can read about in the book of Judges. And he was given a title, which was a Nazarite. And matter of fact, let's pull that word up, Nazarite, really quick. And there's also other Nazarites that you can read about as well that acted as saviors and judges to the nation of Israel. Samuel was a Nazarite as well. So was John the Baptist. Okay? That's why they made the statement. That's why Yahushua said John didn't come eating nor drinking. And you say he had the devil, because a razor wasn't supposed to touch his head, nor he didn't drink of the grape. So there were particular people, prophets, men, that you can read about, our forefathers, that actually took the oath of a Nazarite. All right, now our Lord Yahushua, he obviously drunk, so he wasn't necessarily a Nazarite to that degree, but there's more. We're going to go into his lesson about the Nazarene as well, because there's really no definitive precept that you can go to where it states that for say what Matthew had said, but you got to be able to extrapolate precepts through the Spirit, as our forefathers, those disciples later turned apostles, as they did. And that's where that John 1 is going to come into play. Now I'm going to pull that word of Nazarite.
A Nazarene?
It said Nazarite in Judges, right?
Oh, my bad. I think you went through one in Matthew.
No, it's all good. We can pull the one in Matthew as well if you already got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you can. While I'm looking for that one, you can go ahead and recite that, Baba Kashaw.
All right, well, Nazareth, whenever you get that word in the Greek, it's pronounced Nazareth, which it says the guarded one, the ordinary residence and hometown of Yahushua. So it means, Nazareth means the guarded one, and then a Nazarene means one separated.
One separated. Just as Samson was a Nazarite, he was separated from his peers. He couldn't partake within the same dainties that the rest of them could do. All right, he had to live a separate lifestyle, just like Samson, just like Samuel, just like John the Baptist. And there's other examples as well that you can read about Nazarenes. All right, and later on it actually became a derogatory term. All right, and I'm going to go into that as well. But it became a derogatory term for those that actually followed Yahweh Shai because of the land that he was brought up in. Okay, but I got that word Nazarite pulled up as well. When you go into it, it's pronounced Na-Tazar in the Hebrew. All right, and it says to consecrate or devoted one, a Nazarite. Consecrated one, devotee, or a Nazarite, or untrimmed from the vine. You know, so that's just the definition of the word Nazarite. All right. Now, that's pretty much it on that Matthew. But he quoted, and again, there might be, you know, how there are scriptures that exist that we just don't have access to right now as well. Certain pages we don't have access to, certain books. The Lord gave us what we have right now just for our understanding. So who's to say that there wasn't a writing that it literally quoted exactly what Matthew said in 2 and 23? Who's to say? But as it's going to be written here and read in John, the 1st chapter, starting at the 44th verse, one thing that you can say, or we can say, that those different followers of Yahweh Shai had before Yahweh Shai came to them, they wanted to know about the Lord. All right, and they were able to extrapolate. They studied the scriptures. They were seeking Yahweh Shai just as we are. All right, and these were guys that didn't have that look or didn't have that facade or notoriety, you know, as those that would follow the Messiah or people would expect those to have. Right. Just as Yahweh Shai, you know, they were looking for this man to be with this apparel, have the most profound life and such, but he came from Nazareth. You know, you got that in John?
This is John chapter 1, verse 44. It says, now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him.
Now, does anybody know who this Nathanael is?
Nathanael was, I mean, he was one of the 12. He was one of the 12. Yeah, he was one of the 12 disciples.
Yeah, did anybody know which one he was, though? Because this was his actual name. But when you read it in Matthew, the 10th chapter, where it lists him, you know.
It's not Judas, is it?
No. This is Bartholomew.
Oh.
You know, Bartholomew wasn't his actual name. Bartholomew just means son of Tholomew. You know what I'm saying? Just like Bar-Jonah, Simon Bar-Jonah. You know what I'm saying? Or like Barnabas. Yeah. You know? So Nathanael was actually the name of Bartholomew. Oh. You know what I'm saying? This is Bartholomew, and him and Philip were really good friends.
Oh, it says it right here. I'm tripping.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. But him and Philip were really good friends. So you can read about it in John when you have your own time. After that baptism took place by John, all right, it mentions Andrew, and then it mentions another disciple. Now, when you read it here in John, Andrew went off and told his brother Peter while they was fishing about the account that took place. You know what I'm saying? And then it doesn't really say too much about the other disciple. All right, but then the word got to Philip, because this is in Galilee as well. All right, now Galilee was in northern Israel. This was right throughout the regions of Zebulun and Naphtali. All right, northern Israel, but you find it ironic that this was where a clan of Judites dwelt. You know what I'm saying? Especially here within Nazareth, and we're going to get in a little more with Nazareth. All right, but after that took place, they went all the way up back to their homeland and started telling their friends. All right, Philip told Bartholomew. You know what I'm saying? Andrew told Peter, you know, and so forth. And we're going into this account where Philip is telling Bartholomew about this crucial situation that just took place of how they actually found the Messiah that they was looking for. Like how when we woke up to the truth, you know, you find out about the truth, you're an Israelite, the true name of the Lord, you want to tell everybody, you know. But it hits different when you tell somebody that you know and that you know they know will be into it, like when we found out about it. You know what I'm saying? It's different than telling your family members who look at you like you're crazy than you actually telling somebody through the spirit you know is going to get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to tell like maybe like a friend of yours in the world, and it just completely goes over their head. But then again, you know, like I have a best friend that's actually in the truth, and I told him it just clicked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
you know. And also, too, a lot of them were understudies of John the Baptist. Right. You know, so he was already teaching them the secret things that the Lord was supping to him about as pertaining to Yahweh Shai to come. So when that account took place of that baptism, it's like, wow. You know, matter of fact, I'll read this out in Isaiah 11 really quick. Just going into the baptism, even now how that example, all right, that we read about was even prophesied to take place. And it's in the book of Isaiah, the 11th chapter. And it's really in the very beginning of it. Because remember, it says, "For lo, I come in the volume of the book; it is written of me." You know, so they were searching them scriptures. You know, this is the book of Isaiah, the 11th chapter, and I'm gonna start from the top. All right, and it's also gonna tie directly into Nazareth, what we're going into as well. All right, now this is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord." When he was baptized by John the Baptist, that happened. The Holy Spirit descended down like a dove and rested upon him, where an upgrade took place. And those men were excited to talk about it that actually seen it. And they went and they told their friends that they was something to about. You know? Now that right there goes into the account where Yahweh was baptized in the Holy Spirit. But in the first verse in Isaiah the 11th chapter, it mentions a branch. You know? Now, what is that word branch in Hebrew? Natazar. All right? That word branch in the Hebrew is Natazar, when you look it up, or how they were pronounced Nazareth. All right? So when Yahweh came on the scene, and those wicked scribes and Pharisees and those Israelites were mocking him, scorning him, they was looking for this Messiah to come straight out of Bethlehem, because the prophecies say in the book of Micah. Matter of fact, Baba Kashal, Micah chapter 5.
Micah 5 and 2, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Yahweh said in John 15 chapter, he said, "I'm the vine and ye are the branches."
Exactly.
He said 5 and 5.
5 and 2.
Yeah, 5 and 2.
I got it. It's Micah 5 and 2. It reads, "But thou Bethlehem, Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel."
There you go. So that's the prophecy concerning Yahweh coming out of the land of Bethlehem. And another place you could find Bethlehem Ephratah is in the book of Ruth. You know, because she's one of Yahweh, you know, Ruth and Boaz. You know, that was the reason that they were at where they had their offspring. You know, but that precept right there is the prophecy concerning Yahweh coming out of Bethlehem. And these are prophecies that Israelites were expecting, they knew. You know, so when he came from Bethlehem and went into Egypt, dwelt in Nazareth, and was brought up there for those 30 years and started the ministry, these people are like, no, the Messiah is supposed to come out of Bethlehem. But these particular individuals that was telling everybody, like we're reading in John, knew them prophecies. Yeah. All right? Matter of fact, we can go back to the book of John, chapter 1, verse 45.
All right, this is John chapter 1, verse 45. It says, "Philip findeth Nathanael, and saith unto him, We have found him, of whom Moses and the law and the prophets did write, Yahweh of Nazareth, the son of Joseph."
Yahweh of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. So it even explains the name. We have found him when you look for Yahweh of Nazareth. Now, the copy of the scriptures that we have right now don't tell you that it was Yahweh of Nazareth in the prophecies. You can't even find the land Nazareth anywhere in the history of our book. You read about Ramoth, you read about Succoth, Bethlehem, all these different regions that was given to our forefathers, but you can't find Nazareth anywhere, you know? And it's ironic, Yahweh being a Judite, Joseph being a Judite, his kinfolk, his relatives who were Judites, they were within the land where the northern kingdom actually dwelt before they was kicked out, you know? Now I was looking up some history to it, you know, and I found like 2 sources, you know, and you know, I'm gonna just recite it, you know, hey, Lord's willing is the case, but it's just something that I found interesting, you know, but we'll find out in the kingdom. But I was doing some research as pertaining to Herod and Antipater in around 100 BC, all right? Even a little bit after that, this is around the time where the land of Judea was gifted unto the line of Antipater. You can actually read about this in the writings of Flavius Josephus, all right? And pretty much what Herod did was he married the daughter or granddaughter of John Hyrcanus.
It was a granddaughter.
It was the granddaughter of John Hyrcanus. Now there was a
Hasmonean princess, as they call it.
Yeah, the Hasmonean princess. That's right. And there was a lot of uproar that took place because she was an Israelite and he was an Edomite. You know, but what they had actually done, or what what Herod actually done, you know, that way his registry wouldn't be found out or none of that. He could hide amongst them. He actually destroyed a lot of documents and a lot of registry back then because of fear of them finding out, and also too of a Messiah coming out. Because being married to an Israelite and being amongst them, he knew the prophecy of the Messiah coming,
yes.
Which makes sense later on. You read about it you know, when those 3 wise men came, Shalom Yahweh, what took place? He wanted those children, those men, those little boys killed from fear of the Messiah that's coming. But going back to where I was getting at, you know, what I was finding out some interesting stuff around this time period when he destroyed those documents, he also persecuted the Jews, and there was a sect of the Davidic line that actually fled into northern Israel and hid that way that they could protect their posterity, you know. So that land that Joseph was at, that land that all of them was at, like that was a clan of Judites among the northern kingdom, you know, among that region of the northern kingdom, because we know that they were already gone a while before that. You know, so some interesting history that I was looking up going into that land of Nazareth, and throughout time, you can even research for yourself. It's about 6,000, 7,000 people that live there now. But in the days of Yahweh Shai, it was probably about 100, 150 people that lived over there. A very small settlement, bro. Very small, very poor. All right, and you even had the sickly that dwelt among there. Those that weren't really received by the circumcision, a lot of them was actually moved up to that region, you know, alongside different heathen that was up there. Remember, when you go into the history, all right, when the king of Assyria put the northern kingdom in captivity, you had heathen that started moving there.
Yep.
Israelites scattered there, here and there. You know what I'm saying?
That's where the
Started
Sumerians
mingling.
came from.
That's where the Sumerians came from as well.
A lot of people mistakenly say Cushites, but they're not. They're not Cushites.
Right. That's right. They was moved over to the, like Michael Allah said. You know, yeah, those Sumerians, that's where they came from. They was moved within that region. You know, so even Yahweh Shai's upbringing, it's ironic how we look at us over here in Babylon, or wherever you're scattered at, whether you're in Europe or Australia or whatever. Yahweh Shai always dwelt among those that was not desired among people, and he actually grew up in an area where there were scattered Israelites at. You know, which kind of fits, not even kind of, really fits the narrative of today. You know, of how that segues into the bigger picture of what's taking place. You know, he even said, "I'm with you always, even to the ends of the earth." He was always among the lowly, the poor. Somebody pull up Mark. You have no need of a physician. I believe that's in Mark. Yeah, you pull a Matthew, whatever. Yeah, whatever one that you can find.
Just
Those
I got it,
old
Mark
have no need
2:17.
the water.
okay.
And you can start about 2 verses higher.
15. It's Mark 2 and 15. All right, it reads, "And it came to pass that as Yahweh Shah sat at meat in his house, many publicans and sinners sat also with Yahweh Shah and his disciples. For there were many, and they followed him. And when the scribes and the Pharisees saw him eat with the publicans and sinners, they said unto his disciples, How is it that he eateth and drinketh with the publicans and sinners?"
Yeah, Yahweh Shai was always amongst those that was not desired, bro. You know, he kicked it with those that needed help. You know, you had Jake around that time that thought they just had it. You know, masters of the law, understood the prophecies as they thought. But Yahweh Shai always dwelt among people that was through. Always.
The lowly.
The lowly. You know, and I believe this is the same account of when he actually dwelt in the land of Capernaum. I believe this is in Capernaum. And this is where he found Levi, who also was Matthew.
Yep.
You know, I believe that's the same account, right?
Yep, that's correct. What you're talking about is on verse 13.
Con, okay. Okay,
Do you want me to
beautiful.
read it or
Want me
just
to
I'll
back
just
up?
just
Want me to
reference it?
jump up 13?
The reference is fine. I mean,
Reference
what
is
verse
fine.
are you at right now?
I'm at verse 16.
Yeah, 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 you can read that, Michael. Yeah, or whoever can. Yeah, it's all good.
You're
I
right
jump
there.
up to verse
Yeah, you're
13.
right there.
Mark 2 and 13. "And he went forth again by the seaside, and all the multitude resorted unto him, and he taught them. And as he passed by, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the seat of custom."
Right. It's pretty much like Matthew was pretty much a toll man. Like how you go and get your toll tags, and then you got to ride through the toll road to get to another place quick. You know, this is right here on the western part of the Sea of Galilee, where there was 2 big regions that met together. And these regions were high commodity, so they had different people that were tax collectors. If you cross this land by this shortcut, you know, being sailing in, you had to pay that toll. You know, so that's what Matthew's job was. You know, he was a tax collector, but really he collected the toll from taking that shortcut through the sea instead of going all the way around the other way. You know, and people couldn't stand him, just like you getting that toll today, man, taking your money. You know.
Yeah, because at that point, they pretty much looked at those individuals as like sellouts. You know what I'm saying? In the sense like, oh, you working for the Roman Empire, or whatever the case
Exactly.
was. You know, and being a tax collector or a collector of tolls actually was it was a pretty lucrative position. You know, it was a pretty lucrative.
That was given to this. It was given to the sex of Levites.
Yep, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because they had to do that in the temple.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and Jake was like, they pretty much looked at them like, the scribes and Pharisees looked at them like, look at these sellouts, you know what I'm saying? These guys. That's why they were like, you equal publicans and sinners and tax collectors, you know? So, you know.
That's right.
So it was just like today, how judgmental Jake is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Jake always got something to say. It wasn't no different back then. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing what you're supposed to do, they got something to say. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, they got something to say. But that's what I'm saying. With Matthew being a tax collector, that don't mean he wasn't a man of the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like it don't mean Cornelius wasn't a man of the Lord because he was a centurion.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It just go to show you that coming from all walks of life.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
Want me to jump back down?
Come.
All right, jumping back down to verse 17. It says, when Yahushua heard it, he saith unto them, they that are whole have no need of the physician, but they that are sick.
And that's why when you read the Gospels, Yahushua was doing so many miracles, so many healings, they can't even be contained in a book. You know, a lot of those healings and miracles was done within that region where those sickly Israelites were, those outcasts. You know, and even those disciples that he called and chose. Every single last one of them was from that region except Judas. Every single last one. Judas was actually researching. He was actually from the area of Judea and such. But other than him, the rest of them was actually within that region. Which again is very symbolic and spiritual when it comes to all of us, because that's a land where there were heathens scattered at. You know, Jake was through, lowly. And those men were actually very gritty men too. You know, they weren't just like regular Israelites. They were, again, like I said earlier, they was looked down upon. They spoke a little differently, had some slang. I believe Yashawama did a lesson some years ago going into the title of a fisherman back then, and how those fishermen were very rough,
men, yep.
austere men. You know, people that you would not even consider to be those that Yahweh would choose, you know, or the Messiah would choose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it on that one. If we can jump back and read that again in verse 45, and somebody can hold 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 28. Because he mentions, we found him in the book of the laws of Moses and the prophets, Yahushua of Nazareth. So they're even quoting the fact that this name right here was somewhere written. Yahushua of Nazareth. You got it, brother.
This is John 1:45. It says, Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him of whom Moses and the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.
Right, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph, on who the law and the prophets did write. Now you can find this prophecy of Yahushua in 2nd Ezra 7. Whoever got a hill.
2nd Ezra 7 and 28.
Yeah, con. You got to, you know, you already,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Second Ezra 7 and 28. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him.
There you go, and this is an example of that account right now. All right, we have found him who we've been looking for. Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. Read that again.
For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him.
That be with him. And when you read this account, matter of fact, you can keep reading.
Verse 46, it says, and Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth?
Boom, right there. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Nazareth did not have a proper reputation at all, bro. It was the ghetto through, you know. But it makes sense for the Messiah to come as lowly as the scriptures said he was going to come humble to come out of that region.
Yeah.
All right, now we brought up earlier in Isaiah the 11th chapter, touching up within that region. All right, if somebody can hold Philippians chapter 2 verse 7, and somebody else can hold Isaiah chapter 9 verse 1. And again, matter of fact, we can bring that Isaiah 9 and 1 first, because we're going into the prophecies of Nazareth and how these men were studying them scriptures to find that. You know, that's why they were so excited. You know, like how, again, we said it before y'all came in here, when you first found out about the truth, couldn't nobody tell you shit. You know, you hit the jackpot. And that's how they felt. So we can bring that out in Isaiah the 9th chapter first.
You say 9 and 1?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 9 and 1. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation, when at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali.
The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. Now, when you look up Nazareth, that was right there where Nazareth was at. This is literally a prophecy going into Yahushua coming out of Nazareth. You got it.
And afterward did more grievously afflict her by the way on the sea beyond Jordan in Galilee.
In Galilee. Nazareth was within Galilee. All right, right there of the coast of the Sea of Galilee. All right, and then that segues right into the second verse.
Let me see. And afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea beyond Jordan in Galilee of the nations. The people that walked in darkness have seen a green light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shine.
Yeah. Now again, you know, we correlate that scripture to the land of shadow of death where we're at right now. But even before Yahushua came on the scene, Jake was through. Sickly, diseased, scattered among the heathen, through. But Yahushua rose up and came and shined that light upon them. That's what that precept's going into right there, within the land that he was going to come from, and those mighty works that he was going to do to show forth that he is the Son of the Most High among the nations. He did that among the nations in a very lowly, meek, humble place. And that segues right into Philippians chapter 2, verse 7. Okay.
So Philippians 2 and 7, right, it reads, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant.
There you go. No reputation. How much more of that? And, you know, you come from Nazareth. This is the most lowliest place of the land of Israel. You know, if anybody want to come with no reputation, that's the perfect place to start your ministry at.
Man,
You know?
say, bro, I gotta get this for you.
Baba Kashaw.
Matthew 4 and 12. Now when Yahushua had heard that John was cast into prison, he departed into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is upon the sea coast, in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali.
That's it.
That's
What precept was that one?
Matthew 4 and 12.
Man, that's a direct link to that
That's a
Isaiah 9.
direct link, bro. Yep.
Yeah, when you look at that map of Nazareth, it's right there below, like Canaan, Tyrese, Zidon, and then you got Naphtali and Zebulun right there. And then you got Ephraim right under there, and you keep going south. And there you get to the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know, so Yahushua started right up there, his ministry right up there, where there was scattered Jakes, the heathen, and all of that. You know, and those men that he plucked up, that found him, was from that region as well. Very similar to our walk. And that's also what I wanted to touch up on as well. Having that stigma and that reputation of those that follow Yahushua through. People call us the bum camp. Wrinkled garments. This, that, and the third. I'll take it.
The color candy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like the color, the different color garment candy. Got a lot of white boys in the kingdom.
Also,
Man.
and that's what go to show you that these other groups don't know, they don't care about the prophecies.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It talked about coming lowly and being and prophesying in sackcloth and all these things.
Right.
But then when they see those things, you see the reception. Man, look at this nigga, he wrinkled and blah, 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 blah. That's how I said that was gonna look. Though.
That's right.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you having a problem with the prophets looking like bums is like having a problem with Yahushua having dark skin and woolly hair. It's what it say.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Like, really? We gotta argue with you about that?
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And it's interesting when you research it, like every time you read Yahushua of Nazareth, it's like mostly in a derogatory light. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly in a derogatory light. Like every time you read about Yahushua of Nazareth, it's either somebody, you Yahushua of Nazareth, you've been with Yahushua of Nazareth, or it's being addressed, I'm Yahushua of Nazareth, or when Peter said he's been healed by Yahushua of Nazareth, whom you slew. You know, given that stigma, Nazareth had a negative stigma. You know, so they brought that negative stigma and turned it into a positive light. You know, just so we can bring up some examples with that. Baba Kashaw, Acts 24, Matthew 26, Acts 24 and 5, Matthew 26, 71, Luke 4 and 22. We can bring that, and I got a few more. This ain't gonna be a long lesson either. You know, just something that I was studying up on and want to go into it. You know, but it also goes into those that follow Yahushua were called Nazarenes. They're like, you following the Nazarene. You know, y'all can't be of the Most High, man. The prophecy never said him coming from this land. He came from Bethlehem. You know, these rough men, rugged, can't even speak a straight sentence. You know, that's how they was looked at. But yeah, whoever got the first precept.
Or not prophecy, but there's a scripture somewhere. I think it's in Matthew 26 or the time when Yahushua was being crucified.
That's what we're going into.
Oh.
Yeah, we got that help. You said Matthew 26, right?
I was just quoting off the head. I was just, how about Peter's land?
That's what we pulling up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the ones. It's all good. That's one of the ones that we had held. Whoever got that, that's a spirit.
Acts 24 and 5.
Yep.
It's Acts 24 and 5. It says, "For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, or pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world."
There you go, a pestilent fellow, a remover of sedition. It's already that negative light that's being put out there. You got it, bro.
It says, "And a ringleader of the sect."
Hold on, which one are you at right now?
You said,
You in Acts? No, we're gonna bring out Matthew first.
oh, my bad.
Yeah, but that's one of the ones. That's good. You know, we're gonna bring out that one first, and then we can go into that.
It's just like when people ask what camp you in, and you say Great Millstone.
Yep.
Great Millstone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Y'all done seen it.
Yep. All the time. Their eyes get big and shit. Mm-hmm. Want to fan their hands.
It was 26 and what verse?
You can start at around like verse 71.
Okay.
Judges 12 and 6, Baba Kasha.
This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 71. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there.
Now, Malak, you know what's taking place right here? Can you give a brief abridgment before we read what you're reading right now?
I actually don't.
Okay, it's okay. This is going into when Yahushua was taken from among his brethren. They scattered out as the prophecy said. All right, he was deceived, all right, and lied, caught treacherous by Judas. All right, so this is after the disciples scattered. All right, Peter was kind of afar off watching where he was going and what was taking place.
Okay.
You know, so this is what's taking place. This is actually happening right by the house of Caiaphas. You know.
It's pretty much in the courthouse, in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, this that same night, Salaki. It was the same night that he was taken, right?
This is that same night.
Same night.
This happened right after Peter chopped off Malchus' ear. You know, he did that miracle healing the ear, and they took him right over here because they wanted to wait till the morning to do it because they didn't want to do it during that night. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
Matthew 26, verse 71. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there, this fellow was also with Yahushua of Nazareth.
There you go, Yahushua of Nazareth.
Snitch.
It's that snitching.
Yeah,
and it's a negative stigma how she's putting it. He was with Yahushua of Nazareth.
Yeah.
Every time Yahushua of Nazareth is mentioned, it's mentioned from somebody making a statement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's never the only time he mentioned I'm Yahushua of Nazareth was when he came to Paul, who was persecuting the church. You know, yeah, it's me, who y'all considered the Nazarene. You know, yeah, you persecuting the church. This is me. That's the only time he actually spoke and said Yahushua of Nazareth personally to a man that was persecuting the church. You know, so again, it's always that stigma that's attached, but he used it in a positive sense. You know, this is who you persecuted right here. You know,
Or when them demons was like pretty much addressed, and every time like if Yahushua did the miracle and the demons pretty much spoke out, they always would call him Yahushua of Nazareth at that point as well too.
yeah, there was some examples with that as well. Matter of fact, I believe one of the demons said that and said, "They come to torment me right now." You know.
You call me Yahushua of Nazareth.
Go ahead, bro.
This is verse 72. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man.
Oh God.
Yeah, on God. That's beautiful that you said that, bro. Because it's literally gonna tie into, you know, anybody got that Judges 12 held too? 12 and 6. You can keep reading.
Okay.
On God, on my mama.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, on me. Right. Yeah.
On me. On me. Inside joke. You got to watch that yesterday. You got it, bro.
Verse 73. And after a while came unto him they that stood by and said to Peter, surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech bewrayeth thee.
You one of these niggas. You one of these. It says the speech bewrayeth thee.
It
Now,
reveals you.
you said what?
It reveals you who you are. And
Yeah,
how you speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you looking at word bewrayeth up, I can tell I saw that with the thumb action over there. That's beautiful.
It says,
Because Jake had that grit to him. They ain't speak the same, but he was Judah.
it say clear, so he like clearly, obviously, but
Mhm.
say evident, manifest. I'm gonna just get the what it means.
There was a certain way about himself that they was like, "Oh man, you different than everybody else." Even with his speech,
Like
revealed it.
you know how somebody from Dallas, you know somebody from Dallas may speak differently from somebody from Fort Worth.
Right. Like somebody from New York, they down here and they talk.
Yeah,
That's
Or
right.
From the folk, or, you know what I'm saying?
And it's always noticed by the slang too.
Yeah.
Even by the slang, we don't say that word down here, man. Where you from?
Yeah.
You can speak as proper as you can, but there's certain words that you'll say, and somebody be like, "Nah, you ain't from down here." We don't say that.
Shibboleth and Sibboleth.
That's that Judges we got. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
You know, that's that Judges 12. Even when I went up to Ohio to visit a few years ago, and we being from up there, but I ain't been up there in so long. I went up there and everybody say mad. Yo, that's mad crazy. Or that's mad this. And as soon as I went back up there, I started speaking that way again because we grew up saying that.
Like riding a bike.
Yeah, so we came back here. I'm speaking to Yarala, having a conversation with him, and I said mad like 3 times. He was like, "Yeah, I can tell you was in Ohio, bro. You don't never say that." I'm like, "Dang, I didn't even realize that." You know, it's the same thing with Jake. Same lingo. You know, but you pull it up more in that Berean?
I was just gonna look it up in the Edamon, but it ain't showing up.
Okay, but pretty much what she said right there, we can clearly tell you was with him by even how you talk, how your slang is, how you move. And that leads right into what the Elder Yatzak said, Shibboleth and Sibboleth. And that's in the book of Judges chapter 12, verse 6. You know, Jake always had a different way of speaking in those different areas that they was at. You know, whoever got it.
Judges 12 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Judges 12 and 6. It reads.
Now, you can start from the top, might as well. You can get the understanding of what's happening.
Judges 12 and 1. It reads. And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and went northward and said unto Jephthah, "Wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon? And it is not called us to go over with thee? We will burn thine house upon thee with fire." And Jephthah said unto them, "I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon. And when I called you, ye delivered me not out of their hands. And when I saw you, ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands and passed over against the children of Ammon, and the Lord delivered them into my hand."
Oh, you can read about that story too. It's a beautiful story going into that. The Lord lifted up a crucial standard with Jephthah. You got it.
"Wherefore then are ye come up unto me this day to fight against me?"
Mm-hmm.
Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, "Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites."
These are Israelites battling against each other. You got it.
"And among the Manassites. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so, that when the Ephraimites which were escaped said, Let me go over, that the men of Gilead said unto them, Art thou not an Ephraimite?
Yeah, they trying to hide and stuff. No, we ain't no Ephraimites, man. We ain't from there. Just let us go.
If he said nay, then said they unto him, Say now Shibboleth. And he said, Sibboleth.
He said, Sibboleth.
That's your ass. Mr.
That's your ass. Yeah, we can tell it's you. Your speech berated you. Your speech berated you. It's evident. Ain't it evident?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you got a point.
It's a Nazi movie where it's an American spy, and he held up the number 3 like this, with the 3 middle fingers. And the German was like, no, he held it like this. He held it like this, and he was like, Germans do this.
Mm.
He was like, I know you're not one of us. And he told on himself. It's the same as here, yeah.
Heavy.
Out of there.
Your hands berated you, niggas. Stop.
Their lives at stake, man.
Mm-hmm. But that's a clear example with it right there. You know, and even when you look at us, you know, people like to talk about us, how we talk. You know, we're not that interesting. We always say man and slurring our speech. Man, you a devil, man. You know, even how we speak. Now, granted, you know, you got more brothers that are more articulate, and then you got certain brothers that are just rugged and raw. Look at the Apostle Rakah.
Yeah.
He rough as hell with it, you know, but that's how a lot of those men that follow Yahweh Shai were. Even how their speech was different. Cussing. It said it right there in Matthew 26. Peter started cussing. You know, who knows what the hell he said, but he said an oath. He cursed and he denied Yahweh Shai. And it was evident he was with him already because of how he spoke. You know?
If I may add on to that word, berayeth, that word, when you get it, because when you read it in the Buddha, it says berayeth, but when you read it in the scripture, it says betrayed. So like whenever that word berayeth means to betray. So like pretty much she was saying like your speech is betraying who you really are. You You see what I'm saying? Because the way that you would pronounce particular words, you know, is pretty much betraying who you say that you really are. And even like with Sibboleth down here, like I got a study Bible. It says the linguistic test used to examine whether an individual was an Ephraimite revolved around a distinction in S sounds. The common Hebrew word shibboleth, ear of grain, was pronounced Sibboleth by the Ephraimites, perhaps with a bit of a lisping sound.
Yeah, and it's ironic too. Even today, I was having a conversation with a brother in the Northern Kingdom a while ago, and even how they speak compared to like Ephraim compared to like Issachar,
It's
you
different.
know, it's different. Like it's more roll off the tongue. Like it'll be the Issachar, but Ephraim will have that sound, like an L a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It'll roll right there.
Yeah, that is crazy.
You know,
Like in Spain, they pronounce the V's as like B's. You know what I'm saying? It's more proper over there, right? It's more proper. Versus here is slang.
That's right. And it's beautiful examples because these are all people that speak the same language. So Spaniards, Issachar, Ephraim, but it's how they speak. They all speak in Spanish, but it's the way that they do it. You know, and again, you don't want to. We're not segueing far off, but just to go into how there was a connotation that was amongst that land. There was a reputation with it, and it wasn't always in the best light. You know. That's pretty much it on that, Judges. You know, we can jump back to. You already read that in Matthew 26. We're gonna read about another example, and that's what you're holding in Acts chapter 26, which you started reading earlier.
You want to make a quick precept for you?
Yeah, go ahead, Art.
This is
Whoever
Luke
got precepts, let them fly, please.
This is Luke chapter 22. I'm gonna start at this verse 54, but the point is in 59. It says, then they took him and led him and brought him into a high priest house, and Peter followed afar off. And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall and were sat down together, Peter sat down among them. But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire. So pretty much his face is revealed at that point. You know, he probably had a hood on, you know what I'm saying, looking down. It says, and earnestly looked upon him and said, this man was also with him. And he denied him, saying, woman, I know him not. And after a little while, another saw him and said, thou art also of them. And Peter said, man, I am not. And about the space of 1 hour after, another confidently affirmed, saying, of a truth this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean.
He is a Galilean, you see? And you could tell he was a Galilean by how he spoke. You know, again, they were real rough up there. It was different. You know, you had different good parts of Galilee, but a lot of that was like, it was like ghetto, bro. Mind you, again, you had a lot of heathen living within that region and such. Probably spoke like them a little bit. You know, had a little bit of grit to them. It was different, man, and they could clearly tell. Because this was down there in Jerusalem, you know, where a lot of Judites and Benjamites were. Shoot, Peter was a Judite, you know. Same tribe, but they spoke different. They could clearly tell. Man, he was with Yahushua Nazareth. He's a Nazarene, you know.
That was just like when they with Peter and John, when they perceived them to be unlearned men, but the way they spoke, they could tell that
That's
they walked with Yahushua.
That's it.
You know, and we'll say the way, like you say, the way you speak is going to identify you. You know what I'm saying? Just like that whole, whether it's a negative light or a positive light, it just depends on who heard it. Because those that believe, they wasn't messed up about hearing that he was from Nazareth.
Right.
They just believed in the truth. They didn't care if he was from. They weren't worried about the prophecy. They weren't worried about nothing. They just knew that they believed.
That's
Right.
And that's what identified. You know.
That's right. Beautiful.
Man, it's just like how we preach. Somebody be like, yo, the way that we talk and the way that we preach. If somebody hear the doctrine of Great Millstone, they be like, oh yeah, you must be a follower of Great Millstone. Versus when you hear somebody talking how they preach and how how they look possibly. Well, you know, they can be like, oh, that's a believer of IUIC.
You can tell.
You
can tell.
That's a good point. So you see it. You know.
I got a precept.
That's what happened when you try the spirit by the spirit. It's like Ariella always say, just listen to somebody talk. If you talking to white man, black woman, whoever you talking to, just listen to them talk. They reveal themselves because you can't get around it. You know what I'm saying? Who you are gonna come out.
That's right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 11. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. You know, stammering lips. We speak with stammering lips right now. You know, just wanted to bring that out going into.
We'll go pretty far to make a point. Yeah, we'll go pretty far to make a point.
Right. Absolutely. And again, y'all going into it earlier. People can tell you from Great Millstone by how you preach, different words that you say. It's not as what's the word I'm looking for? As properly choreographed. You know, the choreography behind it.
Right.
The big letters. Yeah, this person slays such and such with the sword of the word. You know, it's a very simple, original way that we do it.
Very informal.
Yeah, that's right. Very personal.
Yeah.
You know, very But it's a unique way that we do it, and again, how we look with it. We got the connotation of the bums, this, that, and the third. Oh, these guys, man, they ain't of the Lord. Look how they dress. Look how they act. Look how they talk. You know, that's a beautiful stigma to have, because Yahweh was amongst them. You know, that's how the Nazarenes carried themselves. And it ain't like the disciples called themselves Nazarenes, but those that was of the circumcision and such called them Nazarenes. Like, look, man, hell no, these are ones that followed him. You know, and that's going to touch right into that precept in Acts 26.
Is it 24?
Yeah, Acts chapter, I'm sorry, 24, the water.
It's Acts chapter 24 and verse 5. It says, "For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world."
A mover of sedition. There goes that negative light again.
A shit starter.
There, that negative stigma.
And a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes.
There you go. It's always other people that label them as that. You know, that was a negative light with that. You know? GMS. Yep. You know? Yeah, that's it though.
West.
Yeah, one West mess.
One myth miss. One West myth.
Somebody had him a can of beans.
Yep.
Started
God.
thing that'll shut him up.
Shoot, I got a precept real quick too. This is Acts 26 and 28. It says, "Then Agrippa said unto Paul, Almost thou persuaded me to be a Christian. And Paul said, I would to the Most High that not only thou, but also all that hear me in this Salaket, this day were both almost and altogether such as I am, except these bonds." Hold on, I think I passed it. Salaket Rose.
Verse 9.
I think it's verse 9, not 29, but 9. The water, it's verse 9. Yeah. Salaket, Acts 26 and 8. It says, "Why should it be thought a thing incredible with you, that the Most High should raise the dead? I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yahweh of Nazareth." And this is when he was being persecuted. You know, this is when he was on trial. Just going into these examples here of that Nazareth word right there. Those that followed him were considered the Nazarenes, had that negative stigma to them. You know, but again, we fit that description perfectly today. You know, through the Spirit, it's talking about us. Starting with them, but we're following that heritage and that way of our fathers. We the children of the prophets, man. You know, you ain't going to expect the prophets. I mean, they're going to come out of different regions. Don't get it wrong. But you got these people that expect them to come with this certain light and this certain facade, when it's really just normal men.
It's according to prophecy. That's what they don't get.
Yeah, right.
The men coming, that's what I'm saying. It's according to, they want it, without using prophecy, it ain't going to make no sense.
That's right.
So when you have a man coming saying, look, the scriptures is talking about World War III, and it's talking about this, and it's talking about that, it's talking about this person coming, or that person leaving, or whatever, it's according to prophecy. And that's what I'm saying. We're not making this up. We read it.
That's right.
We read it. How you gonna be a prophet? Nigga, I don't give a fuck if I got on if I'm wearing this damn red cup. Is the truth coming out of my mouth? That's the only thing that matters. You see, so when you try with that negative connotation, ooh, well, Nazareth, ooh, nigga, your salvation came out of Nazareth via Bethlehem, via the scriptures. That's why the Lord said he that believe on me as the scriptures said.
That's right. That's right.
See, everybody want to believe on the Lord on their own fucking terms. You're not finna find the way to please the Lord on the bottom of no Converse. It's in the book.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful.
You got it.
And it circles right back around, because I was going to end the sermon off on this, but it's like 2 more precepts. But you said it, so, you know, that's a beautiful point that you said. Because the question was asked in the book of John 1, what good thing come out of Nazareth? Salvation came out of Nazareth, man. The most humble place in
Ding,
Israel.
ding, 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 ding.
Salvation came. We came out of Nazareth through the Spirit.
Come on now.
You know, this doctrine, how we move and carry, it's literally a direct reflection of the start of the ministry. You know, from start to finish. Same humble spirit, same thing. The meek shall inherit the earth. That's what came out of Nazareth, salvation.
That's it.
You know? But we can pull up Isaiah 53. It's on like a few more precepts left. And anybody else who got a precept, bring it out. Isaiah 53. You can jump straight to the point in verse 3, and somebody can hold Psalms 22, verses 6 and 7.
like what Elder Abdullah was saying, kind of just think about how the scriptures say that the prophets, there will be signs and wonders amongst Israel in Isaiah the 8th chapter. Like Jeremiah, he was prophesying with a yoke on his neck.
Yep.
And then people are looking at him like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Isaiah prophesying David.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hosea getting a prostitute. Probably people like, what the? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro. They don't break it. The prophets was doing weird shit.
But you had particular people that looked at the signs. It was like, whoa.
Damn.
They was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
When they stopped doing those particular things, you have particular Jake that will question in their mouth. Especially in the book of Ezekiel says that in the 24th chapter, it says, it's like, dang, hold up, Ezekiel ain't doing he's not doing any symbolism.
Exactly.
It must mean that's what's going on.
He's not showing forth mourning.
Exactly. It's like, what does that mean? Like something, they will question, like,
Yeah.
hold on a second, something ain't right.
And that's the Lord open up their minds to even think that way.
Yep.
Just like how it came about with us. You know, regular people looked at it a certain type of way, but it's like, that thought was there like, hold on, there gotta be something more to this, man.
The videos.
This person just walking around with a yoke, no, it gotta be something more to this, bro. I don't give a dang how they look. You know.
Contemporarily speaking, it's the videos. When we saw the videos on YouTube, I mean, we couldn't put it down.
Mm-hmm.
There was something about it, it attracted us.
Right.
Versus other people, man, you know, it repelled them, you know, away from the truth.
Yeah, straight up. Even when I, came into the knowledge watching videos, just myself personally, other brothers got obviously different walks. But when I watched IUIC and all them, and all the graphics and all the big glamour and the lights and stuff, which, hey, at the end of the day, Jay gonna do what they do. But something about watching Great Millstone, it was like, yo, this is original right here. This is original, and I like the fact that it's original. They doing lessons, look like they sitting at their couch at their house.
It's authentic.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Genuine.
This is my little testimony within myself. Like that drew me to this knowledge, personally speaking.
Yeah, it was gimmick free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all about the word, not about the man.
That's right.
Here it's about the word, it ain't about the man.
That's right.
You can't say you follow a great millstone for some type of image or gimmick. You follow because you heard the word come out of the man's mouth and you believed in it.
Right. That's it.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Right. That's all
What the
about.
word said. Not about anything else, man.
That's right.
You can make all these colorful shows all you want to and make yourself look cute and attractive and stuff like that, but now you got a person following you and not the word.
That's right.
You know? And then you make a mistake as a man, and because they following you and not the word,
Right.
the person falls
That's
apart.
right. Right.
Right, huh?
Straight up.
That's right.
You got blood on your hands at that point.
That cult of personality.
Yeah, straight up, brothers.
If I may add, kind of went through that when I first came across Great Millstone online. And it was, how brothers was taking clips of Apostle Tar talking about the rape doctrine, so-called rape doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bashing it. He's from 8 or 9 different. See this. They talking this, but I don't know. Something about when I saw it, it was different.
Yeah.
I didn't see what they saw. I mean, here I am. I see this man. He's got white hair, white beard. He had a particular way of speaking. It was just something about him. Was like, you can tell it wasn't crazy. You know what I mean? Just the way, and he was just out on the street. He was going off with somebody, but the way it was coming across, it just kind of drew me in. It was like, nah, man. This gentleman is obviously educated. He's obviously intelligent.
That's right.
What is he really trying to say? You know what I mean? So once you look past that, but like you said, at the end of the day, if it's for you and you wanted to hope for elect, then you're gonna see past all of the lights and glitz, man. You're gonna see it for what it is.
That's right.
It's the way to walk in it.
All right.
Straight up. Beautiful.
If I may say, based off of that point, it shows you the mindset of the majority of people that are believers that claim to be Israelite. They claim that they know that they're Israelites. Majority of them aren't following the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in sincerity and truth. So only a small remnant, a small portion of people are even going to be able to receive what we preaching, man.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the Lord is working with, man. Those small, those are despised, rejected. We said it earlier. That's always who He had dwelt amongst. That's because He had to raise people up. Yahushua came to lift up, not to put down. Those wicked scribes and Pharisees were already in the spirit of being puffed up and lifted up. So Yahushua's ministry wasn't for them. That's why I believe it says in like John the 9th chapter, I would rather that ye be blind. That way you can heal and see. But you already say that you are not blind, so you shall receive judgment pretty much. And that's loosely paraphrasing. You know, but somebody can pull it up and yeah, it's about the Shaw too. Judith 9:11. You brought that point of how Yahweh Shai dwelt among the sick.
You want to start at verse 3?
You can start at verse 3. Yeah, that's pretty much the point.
It's Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. It says, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not.
Yeah, keep going. I know I said this verse 3, Salakia, but this is a good point, though, how he was despised and rejected. And what did Yahweh Shai say? The servant is not greater than his master. Surely they have hated me, they will also hate you. You know, we fit that narrative to the T, and that's humbly speaking. Not saying that to boast or anything like that, but if you want to point out somebody that's being rejected among people in the world of Israel, the ones that's most slandered, we fit in that narrative.
Yeah.
You know, just call it a spade a spade. You got it, bro.
No, it's like that guy that had the nerve to be like, Nate was like, oh, this is the thing, he's the most hated man in Israel, but the most respected, or the most loved, or something like that. I'm like, alright, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can tell by the fruit. And a lot of reasons why Yahweh Shai was hated too. He proclaimed himself to be the Son of the Most High, have the whole truth. We proclaim to have 100% truth. People hate the fact that we say that in boldness, that we 100% truth. And then we'll get on you. A lot of people hated Yahweh Shai as well because he was getting on people, bro. You know? Somebody following that stigma. Ain't no other camp getting on people like that. It's always Great Millstone doing the lessons about it. Even our enemies, like Sonnet and them, will tell you. You know? You got it, bro.
He spoke with Yahusha spoke with such authority that it was like,
Spoke as one having authority.
yeah,
Mhm.
he become the same instead.
Right, that's right. And they added to say that he was a man that didn't even have any letters. How he speaking that way when he don't even have no letters? He didn't go to, you know, the Sanhedrin and learn from these different doctors and such. Who the hell is he? But his word stood forth. It was true. You know? You got it, bro. It should go into like a tender herb out of a dry ground.
Okay. Verse 4 says, sure, Isaiah 53 and verse 4, surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrow.
And that verse you talking about is verse 2.
Verse 2, okay, start at 2, Bubba the Show.
Isaiah 53 verse 2.
On the top now.
You might as well. You might as well, though.
Isaiah 53 and 1. Who hath believed our report?
And it's beautiful that we start from the top. Because that hits it home right there. It's only a small few people that's going to believe the report. Because they're looking at the gimmicks. They want the gimmicks and everything. So the report goes over their head because it's not that particular look or a particular phrase of how we talk. Our speech berate us a little. It's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hell no. We don't know about that report, man. That person got a
baby
ring
out
on
with
their
the
car.
bathwater instead of getting the information. People
Exactly.
looking at the packaging and the way it come out. You know.
Yep.
Don't teach hate.
Yeah,
You
y'all
don't know what we talking about.
the R word. They love to throw that R word around.
But that offense gets them out of there, though. You know.
Mhm.
That's the separator.
That's right.
Stone the ground.
Yahweh Shai, ultimately the word, because it all go back to the pure word, like you were saying. You know.
That's right.
Isaiah 53 verse 1. Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
Who's the arm of the Lord? Malak, who's the arm of the Lord? Yahweh Shai. Who was Yahweh Shai revealed? We read it. Exactly. And then we read it in John, the first chapter, of how he was revealed. You know, they knew that he was because of the report. They knew the prophecies they was reading. This is Yahweh Shai of Nazareth, who was written up in the law of Moses and the prophets. You know, they believed the report. You know, those that looked past the exterior, Salakia, those that looked past the exterior and looked at the spirit of things. You know, I think a brother quoted it earlier, trying the spirit by the spirit and see if they're the Most High. It's a spiritual thing. You know, you got it, bro.
Verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
As a tender plant. Now we went into the word Nazareth, branch. You know, literally his name Nazareth means branch. He came up out of that. You know, out of what?
Out of Nazareth.
No. I'm sorry.
It says, for he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of a dry ground.
Out of a dry ground. Very humble, lowly place. Dry, deserted. You know, people weren't expecting the Messiah to come out of something like that, man. You know, but again, that had to prove a point. Showing he had to come out lowly. Meek, lowly, humble, riding on the ass like you read about it in Zechariah. You know, he fulfilled humility to the T. His walk.
It's all
You know?
spiritual, man. He's set up as a stumbling block because these are all in the prophecies, and the scribes and Pharisees were versed in that. They knew that the Messiah was supposed to come lowly.
Yep.
They just
Right.
full of shit.
Right.
You know, they wanted what they wanted.
You
Okay,
got
but they had positions.
Yep.
They had things that they wanted to continue
So like, it made me think of Ezekiel 37. You know what I'm saying? Of how, you know, in the valley of dry bones, the Lord was going to raise up his elect and from a dead state.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But
Right,
it all
right.
starts with Yahushua being that vine and us being the branches.
That's right.
You see, if
That's
you
right.
got a vine, if you got a vine or you got a root in the ground still, that means that there can still life come forth from that.
Yeah.
He plucked the root up.
He came out of a hole in the wall, man.
Exactly.
He came out of a hole in the wall.
That hole in the wall taco place that you just, it look all crusty.
That food be
That
good as
food
hell.
Good as hell. You got the good ass sauce, so you be like, damn it, you know what I'm saying? But it'd be a little duck off spot that only particular people know about.
That's why when people hear this word, bro, when you first come in and start having class and really getting intimate with this information, you be like, yo, this is some heavy stuff, man. Versus being out there on the highways and just listening, which is beautiful too. But when you actually come in and sup with the brothers, every single last one of us can attest to when you first had that first classroom experience.
Woo,
Oh man, it was different, bro. It was different.
Exclusive.
You know, not all the cameras, not all the light shining, just in a regular, humble setting. That's that good food being served.
That's that supper, like you said, Yahweh shot supping, you know.
That's right.
That intimate, you know, discourse to get the word. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that conversation you have with, you know, with the elders and the brothers, like those like one-on-ones that you get to have.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's different versus at camp when you actually fellowshipping and you actually had that one-on-one time, or
Right,
you know
right.
that congregation time. You know what I mean? Like man, like the priest said, and we all can attest to it. You know?
That's pretty much the point on that. That whole chapter is dope.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
but that's pretty much the point on that one. We can read that in Psalms chapter 22. And we can end it off in Judith 9:11, unless anybody has any other precepts.
I have one, but whatever. It kind of it said when I was 83, but you know.
Oh yeah, bring that out then. If it, I mean, you know, yeah, we can bring that Psalms 22 out in a second. Yeah, you got that.
It's just two verses. John 12 and 37 and 38. It says, but though he had done so many miracles before them, yet many believed not on him, that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Yahweh, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of Yahweh been revealed?
Right. Yahushua was doing the works, doing miracles. A lot of people couldn't get it. They didn't want to get it. You know, and then there was a negative light that was painted already, negative narrative. Watch out for this guy. How do you think those people, when we read in Matthew 26, oh, this is him right here. It was a woman that said that. Man, there was a reputation that was starting to get stirred around about this guy. There was a good reputation on one end, and then there was a negative reputation on another end. That's why the scriptures also say he came to his own, and what? His own received him not. You know? Now that don't mean that it was just all Israelites that didn't receive him.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
Those
I would
ain't-
say that don't even make no sense to present that argument.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it talk about how the congregation kept getting bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and to where the Romans had to do something.
Right.
So the bigger it got, the more things had to be done. So what you mean? Everybody really,
Right.
really,
It's a bogus argument.
everybody to the point to where Jackie Chan could get up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? That whole replacement theology. Think about that. Think about that. It's gonna be more heathen in the kingdom that get blessed than the elect of the nation of Israel.
Makes no sense.
That don't make no sense.
Mhm.
And you see how easily that's chopped down when you just get to going through the precepts. You see, when you look, when you don't know what you're talking about, you run out of precepts very fast,
Real fast.
real quick. You know what I'm saying? But we the ones Hebrew hopscotch.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you what, if we do Hebrew hopscotch, it'll last all day.
Mm-hmm. We tag teaming that mother.
It'll last all day.
Mm-hmm.
If we let you Christian hopscotch, you John 3:16 and Galatians 3. And then here come the hurled accusations. That's what I'm saying. We can hopscotch all day. Don't get it twisted.
Right, right.
That's what I'm saying. You know how many pages is this?
Man.
How many pages is this? So for you to go, Jesus loved my heart, to close the book and drive off. That's on you then.
Yep.
That's on you then, cause you ain't through eating.
Yep.
That's like ordering a 7-course meal, and then right when they bring out the appetizer, you get up and leave.
Yeah, right. Straight up.
Who does that?
You got it.
You know, I'm good,
Solid points. Solid points, man.
man.
That Psalms?
Who had that?
I got Psalms
I got
22.
Psalms. Someone else got it. Grab it. You want
Okay,
some?
what verse? Psalms 22.
Start at verse. It's 6 and 7 are the key points.
Okay, this is Psalms chapter 22, verse 6. But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying, he trusted on Yahweh that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him.
Yeah. And that's right there is another precept going into Yahweh Shai. And you could even go into when he was on the cross right there. He said, you work these miracles, get yourself down from this cross. You know, but just more so just in the totality of it, that's another example of him being rejected and despised.
Based on the
You know?
scripture.
That's right. Based on the prophecies. And just as it happened with him, the same thing applies to us.
That's right.
Same thing. But the Lord was with him, his Father was with him and delivered him after that. Same thing applies to us. It's only going to be so long, we're going to be despised, looked at in a negative light. People say all these different things. There be times in the flesh you want to react. You want to react, bro, and not turn your face. But then you're thinking according to the flesh and not according to the spirit. The Lord going to get his glory, you know, and be grateful that he's using men like us to glorify him. And that's what he wanted, and that's who he's going to raise up, you know. He ain't going to raise up people that already think themselves to be on this level. You know, scriptures say, the greater thou art, the more humble thou shalt be. When you're in that humble, that low state, the Lord is going to lift you up. So be grateful for the fact that you're dealing with whatever hell you're dealing with, whatever infirmities you got in your mind, flesh, whatever the case is. Easier said than done, but man, yo, that's who the Lord came for. Yahweh Shai was always amongst them, you know, and that don't change. He said, I'm with you always, even unto the ends of the earth. Those disciples he was with was catching hell. They were hurt, you know. Same thing applies with us. Yahweh Shai is dealing with people like this. Like that hot boy.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Because he said worm in Psalms 22 and 6. This is Isaiah 43 and 1. Says, but now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine.
And he said, thou worm. Well, now what is
like,
worm is in the, go ahead.
Isaiah 44 is the one where it says worm. But I'll pull that one because you said we're going to be redeemed.
Yeah, for sure. And worms are defenseless. They're very humble. They already live in the dirt. They eat, you know, the stuff in the dirt, but they don't got arms, legs. They can't fight back. You see a worm, bro. It's easy to step on it, you know what I'm saying, and do anything you want to. You know, you throw it in your line and fish with it. You know, worms are completely low. You know, and he's likening us to being those worms. But it's all good. The time's going to come where the Lord is going to defend us. All right? Was that it on that one?
Yeah, it was really Isaiah 44. I read 43.
It's okay.
Yeah, I can read 44.
Yeah, read 44.
God. It's Isaiah chapter 44, verse 1. It says, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen.
What does Jeshurun mean? Mike, Yasharada, what does Jeshurun mean?
Israel?
It is talking about Israel, but what does it mean, though? Jeshurun. Okay. What, you know what it means? Can anybody say what Jeshurun means?
Upright.
It means upright.
Yasharwan. Yasharwan.
Yeah, like Yasharwamba. Yasharwan. That's how you say, that's what Jeshurun is in Hebrew. Yasharwan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so now, you know, brothers, that means upright. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is going to raise us up in that time. You know what I'm saying? Was that it on that precept?
Man, I got this. It's 41. It's like.
I was say, man, do a lesson after we get done. Put the book down.
My bad, bro.
I got a rapid fire.
Jake typed in, he went to blue letter typed in worm.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, man, where is it, bro?
I mean, it's all good.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll be doing it.
Yeah, but let me read it, bro. It's like, it's Isaiah 41 and 14. Fear not, thou worm, Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
Yeah, that worm, Jacob, I will help thee. Showing you it ain't no guns that can, not if Jake get guns, whatever it is, but I'm talking about the guys that bring it to camp, you know, tote them around and everything like that. Like, bro, you ain't looking for your salvation to come from the heavens. You looking at that instant save right there. But when they jam, you're going to really see how much of a worm you are and how you ain't trusting the Lord. You know, the Lord is coming to those that truly trust him and believe him. And those that are lowly, that are humble, you know. We can end it off on that Judith 9.
Yeah. It's Judith 9 and 11. All right, it reads, for thy power standeth not in the multitude, nor in thy might in strong men. For thou art a power of the afflicted, and a helper of the oppressed, an upholder of the weak, a protector of the forlorn.
And the forlorn means literally undesired, like helpless, complete, like worm. You got it.
A savior of them that are without hope.
That are without hope. You know? So going into where our Lord came from, that was a long way. It wasn't by mistake. You know, how he was born in Bethlehem as the prophecy and went right back to his land among those poor and those sickly, those that needed help. That was a story, a narrative that started, and you see the finished product of it today. You know what I'm saying? And that's being carried on, that legacy is being carried on through us. You know? So it's just always something to think about when you're going through things and such. Yahushua was always with those that was lowly held. He was a man that was acquainted with grief, a man of sorrows, as it's written. The servant ain't greater than his master. So we're going to deal with it, but guess what? The Lord is going to raise those individuals up, just as Yahushua got raised up. You know, so this ain't a thing about looking for glory on this side, looking for this recognition, whatever the case is. You're going to be despised more than loved by a lot of people, you know.
It was like that before you came into the truth.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, so, hey.
Beautiful point. So just take it like a champ. Take it like a champ, bro. Yahushua is coming to get us, man. Be excited the fact that the Lord is dealing with us. You understand these scriptures. Be excited like how Philip and Bartholomew was excited when they found out that they found Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? And when you read that account, they was going, oh, well, we got to go find him. Right when they hit that corner, Yahushua was already right there, man. A man without guile. He was already there amongst them, you know? And that's very spiritual. You know what I'm saying? You can try to look and, all right, man, he already right there with you know? But that's pretty much the points. If anybody has any points or precepts or anything. Okay, gone. Well, hey, class is adjourned. Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to our apostles and the elders, Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, many salutations unto you elect across the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all sincerity and in truth and righteousness. Shalom.